Welcome to another episode of Coming Up Milhouse.
How's it going, all?
We are here today to talk about episode 15 from season 9. It is called
Das Bus.
And go ahead and explain to our audience what the episode was about, George.
This is a good one. So there are actually two plots. There's a main plot and a subplot. So the main plot is about most of the students in Springfield Elementary that we know, and they have a model UN club. And while they're on the bus one day, the bus wrecks and ends up in the ocean, and the students get swept out of the bus, and they end up on a desert island, and they got to survive together as a group. And it becomes a kind of parody on the Lord of the Flies and that kind of story. So they start to turn on each other and do things like that. And then the subplot is while all this is going on, Marge and Homer are home. They don't know this is happening to Bart and Lisa. And Homer sees a letter in the mailbox that's actually for Ned Flanders, and he takes it back to Flanders, and he finds out that Flanders has his own internet company, and he's making money. And then Homer is like, oh boy, I got to get in on this. So we get this subplot where Homer knows nothing about the internet, tries to create his own internet company to make some money, but he doesn't know what he's doing. And both are very funny. I really enjoyed it.
I agree. I think it's actually really a funny episode because the kids are on a bus, on the school bus to go on a trip, and they end up somewhere where there is a large body of water and an island to end up on. So they definitely were spending some money to travel for their school project, and I didn't go to school with a place like that.
It's always funny how you ever notice on The Simpsons how whatever environment they need for the story, there just happens to be one somewhere.
I know, it magically appears.
There's a mountain in one, there's a cavern, there's an ocean, there's a glacier. You know, they in this episode there's like, okay, we need a desert island, so they end up on a desert island.
It's true.
And I like that a lot. So you want to jump into favorite lines?
Sure.
Let's do the first one
this
there.
Was jam-packed with, again, some more favorite lines. So one of the reasons that we picked this episode is there is a favorite scene that I will save for later, but there are some favorite lines to go along with that. My first favorite line at the very beginning of the episode, the family is watching a movie and it features Troy McClure, and I really do miss Phil Hartman.
I do miss Phil. He was great on the show.
He was amazing on this show. So, even stink beetles? Especially stink beetles.
Yeah, so he's Noah, and God's like real in his face. He's like, I want 300 cubits, and it needs to be 2 of every animal, and Noah's just not sure how to handle God being heavy-handed, and that's kind of a joke, but it's pretty funny.
And the movie is epically long. They start it probably right after dinner, and it ends when they have to go to school the next morning. And they're almost late for the bus because the kids beg them to
stay up and finish the movie, and you think they'll be up to like 10 or 11 or something, and it's dawn when it's finally over. That's great. So my first one is when the students are on the desert island and they're hungry because they don't have any food, and Bart's stomach is rumbling and they think it's a monster. The other students are like, oh, what is that? It's a monster. And Bart says, it's not a monster, it's my tummy. But then Nelson's looking at him like, you're saying tummy? Yeah. And then he realizes that Nelson's going to punch him for saying tummy, and he goes, stomach, gut, crap factory. And then Nelson's like, okay. Like, Nelson's good with crap factory, but if he was going to say tummy, that wasn't going to fly with Nelson.
It was going to get ugly a lot quicker than it did.
So that was my first favorite line.
Okay, and then my second favorite line of this episode. So Homer is starting a new internet company, but he really honestly has no clue what the internet is or what it does, but he knows that he needs to set up a home office. So he has a nice table kind of like this without the cat on it. And he has, a nice framed picture and a pot of flowers and his phone, and he has to have a pencil holder. And so Marge comes in to admire the desk, and in reference to the pencil holder, she says, "Is that my good butter?" And Homer says, "Can't discuss that, Marge. I have to write another delicious memo." And then he licks the pencil.
Takes the pencil out of the butter.
Sticking in the butter. So, yeah, that's another good one.
That's a good one. My second favorite line is very similar to that. It's in the same vein. So it's when Homer is setting up his internet company. And like Gail was saying, he's got, his stick of butter with his pens in it, but he has a typewriter he's setting up. And, his phone.
And it's an internet company.
And it's an internet company. He's got a typewriter sitting there. So a little bit later in the episode, he says, he's reading a book, Internet for Dummies. And then he blurts out, "Oh, they have the internet on computers now." And that was
That's
funny.
good.
Because it goes back to the typewriter, and then later in the episode, we understand why he put a typewriter down, because he didn't know he didn't
have a clue. Of course, Homer really shouldn't be starting any business, but especially one that's internet related.
With technology, even though he's a nuclear technician.
Right.
But that's neither here.
Which is all shocking to everybody all the time. So, should we get into our favorite scenes?
Yeah. You want to go first?
Sure. So I turned another favorite line, which is really the true reason I made George watch this episode. Something at work this week happened where somebody burnt a bag of popcorn, so I had this line stuck in my head, and I needed to relive it on The Simpsons today. And so my favorite scene, the kids are on the island, and it is very much Lord of the Flies related, and they have part of the group go out to forage for some food. And so one of my favorite characters is Ralph, and he always will be. And he goes and he comes back, everybody has like 3 berries, and Lisa says they're pretty poisonous looking. They have purple poison ooze basically, and then you pan over to Ralph, and he's just covered in purple goo all over his face, and he says, "I ate the purple berries. They taste like burning." And that's my favorite. So,
and then he falls over, and he's like, "Oh!" And Bart's like, "Food Patrol blew it."
So the burnt popcorn this week really made me think,
of that line.
They taste like burning, and that's one of my favorite scenes.
That's a good one. So mine is it's a little sillier one. It goes back to the Homer doing the internet thing, and he eventually must end up figuring out how to get on a computer because he's got his site up, and we find that comic book guy is trying to download racy pictures of Captain Janeway from Star Trek Voyager, and he's got a slow connection because this is the 90s when this episode came out, and he's like, "Ooh, Captain Janeway," but it's taken forever to load, and then Homer's face pops up as CompuGlobal Internet King. Whatever. Oh yeah, Internet King. Yeah, it comes up with that, and he's like, maybe this can help me get my pictures of Janeway downloaded faster, and so that becomes Homer's first customer. But the fact I had to pick it because it gave a shout out to Janeway and Voyager,
and you love Star Trek,
and so that had to be my one.
Yeah,
I thought that was hilarious.
That doesn't surprise me at all that you picked that one. And then of course the comic book guy shows up at the Simpsons home, and he's sitting across from Homer talking about all of these technical specs that he wants for his internet, and Homer's just staring at him, and then says, "Can I have my money now?" So yeah, good
and he
scene.
doesn't even know, like, he can't do anything with
not at all.
Yeah, that was great.
All right, and then in every episode we pick a winner and a loser of the episode. So what do you want to start with, winner or loser? You want to
do winners first?
Sure, we can do winners first.
Let me go first?
Yeah, go
All
first.
All right, I'll go. My winner, I chose Nelson because, for one, when they're on the island and they start getting hungry and they start getting restless, Nelson's the one that rallies all the other kids against Bart and Lisa, and he's even, makes some war paint with ashes, and I figured if he's at least able to rally the troops and get some forces behind him, so that felt like a a winning strategy to me, so I went with Nelson.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Bart because, in a similar vein, actually, I think that Bart really uses his brain power in this episode because, first of all, he's participating in the Model UN, which I think is great. And then once they reach the island, he's the first one to kind of step up and say, hey, stop fighting. We need to build this amazing treehouse, and we're going to have monkey butlers, like I mentioned, and all of this food, mangoes and nuts, like his vision comes to life on the screen for us as you're watching. And, I think that he's a winner. He also helps protect Lisa in this episode because people are just against Lisa as usual. And he's just trying to be very helpful. It kind of backfires a little bit, but I think that Bart, in my book, is the winner in this episode. Good one.
I like it. What about your loser? You want to do the loser?
Sure. So I'm going to go with Otto for my loser. So Otto, at the beginning of the episode, is charged with taking the children on this field trip, and Skinner says, please be careful with the most valuable asset the school has, the school bus. So then the kids end up having a fruit race on the bus, and they're rolling apples and grapefruit and banana down the aisle. And so Otto is my loser because not only did he lose the most valuable asset, he got swept out to sea, and then he also got picked up by these rogue pirates that don't look like very nice guys.
Good one. Yep. And he thinks he's saved, but we see on the subtitles that no, he's not saved.
No, he's not saved. So who knows where Otto is?
Yep. All right, my loser, I'm going to go with Homer. Again, I'm going back to his subplot, but I really like the subplot because he thinks he's going to make some money, and actually Bill Gates shows up. And Bill Gates is like, I'm going to buy you out because I don't know what your internet company does, but I don't want to compete with you, so I'm going to buy you out. And Homer's like, woohoo, I'm going to get some money. And then Bill Gates' thugs trash the place. And he's like, what are you doing? And Bill Gates is like, well, I didn't get rich by writing a bunch of checks.
Yep.
And so Homer didn't get his money, so his enterprise collapsed on him.
Right, and he didn't.
So there's that.
He couldn't beat Flanders, which is always Homer's ultimate goal.
Right. So, very good. I like that episode. That was a lot of fun. Season 9, Episode 15, Das Bus. If you haven't seen it, get on Disney Plus or your DVD collection or whatever you got. Check it out.
Or Hulu.
Hulu's got them, yep.
Yep. Check them out.
So we're going to do another feature today, a new innovation of our channel, and we got a nifty little gadget here that's going to help us pick next week's episode.
So in order for us to continue this random streak, I could easily come up with random episodes for us to watch, but I thought it might be a little fun to include some technology in here. So we're going to draw for the season. Season 10.
Something from Season 10.
And let's find out what the episode is.
3.
Episode 3. So Season 10, Episode 3. Let's find out what it is. So Season 10, Episode 3 is entitled Bart the Mother.
Bart the Mother. I remember that one.
Yep.
All right.
So go ahead before next week if you are interested in watching the episode with us, basically, before we talk about it. Tune in to Season 10, Episode 3, Bart the Mother.
Be coming at you real soon. All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up for today. Anything else to tell the fine folks out
Thanks
there?
for joining us.
Thanks for
if
joining
you care to subscribe, it's going to be right down below me, somewhere over in here. Feel free to make comments, reach out,
Give
let us
like
know
if
what
you
your favorite episodes are, things like that.
Yep.
And until next time,
Jiminy
Jiminy
Jillikers!